Division 1.
That's game over.
Manchester City towards heartbreak on the final day of the season. Manchester City are 2-0 down.
And some of the City supporters can barely look.
We know what this team is capable of. We know that it's possible.
Oh my word.
The impossible has happened. The title race is back on!
This is the team that comes back and finds a way to win in the most improbable circumstances.
City have come back from the dead!
Kevin De Bruyne! Number one! The king of comebacks at the Etihad. Balotelli, Aguero!
Manchester City fans, good evening. It is a huge night here at the Etihad Stadium as we, of course, prepare ourselves and get ready to welcome Real Madrid to the Etihad Stadium for this second leg Champions League tie. Now, of course, as the boys in blue get off the bus here, they know the job that needs to be done tonight, as do all Manchester City fans, because after that sad result over in Madrid, of course, Real Madrid come into this 3-0 up. But as you just saw on that VT, and as I'm sure you'll have been speaking about all week, we still believe. As we know, Manchester City fans, we fight till the end. We've done it before, and we'll do it again, I hope. Here to build up all that action, I've got some brilliant people in the studio who I know are going to not just fill me with hope and inspiration and positivity, but you guys at home as well. Welcome to our studio here in the Manchester City Academy, Studio 1. My name is Cel Spellman, and I'm delighted to say I'm alongside Paul Dickov, Izzy Christiansen, and I'm so happy to have next to me from our women's team, Sam Coffey. Good evening, team. Sam, I'm going to come to you first. Are you hopeful and are you still positive we can get a result tonight? Give me something good, please.
I am hopeful. I think if there's anywhere something crazy can happen, it's the Etihad. I think there's just something in the air in the city today, and yeah, I'm very hopeful that they can get the job done.
It's a good start. That's what we like. Paul, you always tell me what I want to hear. What have you got for me tonight?
I don't know if I can follow that, though. That's the only thing. Yeah, look, there's always a chance. We all know it's going to be tough. You know, I'm always super positive, Kel. I think the first 20 minutes are absolutely massive today. Yeah. You know, the Champions League nights over the last 4 or 5 years at the Etihad have been absolutely electric. You know, I remember the Madrid team 3 years ago. Yeah. Saying it's the best atmosphere they've ever had, that blew them away. So if we can get the atmosphere right at the start of the game, get after them early doors, there's always a chance, you know that. Yeah. I was going to give them a prediction now, but I'll wait till the end of the show.
Yeah. We won't get too ahead of ourselves.
I'm up for this, Kel. Honestly, I'm ready.
Izzy, from yourself as well. I mean, you spend a lot of time as well around here at the academy, same as you said. It does feel there is that little bit of a buzz in the air. Yeah. None of us have lost hope really, which is important tonight.
No, I think that's where the belief comes from. If the game's going to be anything like the sunset tonight, it's going to be beautiful. And I just believe. I think that I've got a good feeling. I think there is no better time like the present just to empty the tank and see what you can do. I think Paul's spot on. Early goal would be, obviously, I don't think it takes a genius to work that out, that we need an early goal. Yeah. But I think the crowd plays a huge part. I mean, it's an absolutely stunning day here. Yeah. The sunset over the Etihad, we get a great view here from the training academy, and I just think something's in the air, and let's just hope it's what we want.
Sam, sorry, Paul, did you want to add to that?
I'm just going to say, as disappointing as last week was, you know, I watched the first half back the other day there, and the first 20 minutes, up until they scored, we were dominant. Yeah. We were all over. They couldn't get out. We were creating chances. They were all over the place, and obviously the one little bit, I know we're going to talk about that game later, the one little bit magic from Courtois, Valverde, you know, killed the game. But up until that point, we were creating chances, and they were really on the rocks. So if we start again tonight, we'll get every chance.
And Sam, and you'll know, I mean, coming from a player's perspective, and Pepper spoke about this, and Bernardo Silva, if we're going to get a result tonight, the players have to believe. Will there have been those conversations, you know, at the training ground, in the dressing room, maybe when you kind of, you know, putting your boots on? Is there that kind of conversation between you all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can imagine the conversations they're having. It's obviously they've played many games within the last week, and so I can imagine the fatigue they're feeling. But I'm sure that they're being very vocal about what needs to be done tonight. It is a tall order, but they know that if they commit themselves to it, as we've all been talking about, that it absolutely can be done, and crazier things have been done. So, again, if there's anywhere it can happen, I think it's here.
And just quickly on that, crazier things have been done. So how much does that kind of lend in then to, you know, maybe some of the younger players, you know, that are kind of, as we say, we're a team in transition, but for them to know they're part of a team and part of a club we're in our fabric, going back to way back when, you know, you put your name in Manchester City history books, that all plays a part.
It does, and you know, you've got to look back to, obviously, the Aguero moment. I'm sure everybody will be talking about this week, and then we got dead and buried 2-0 down against Aston Villa, last game of the season. Then obviously Ilkay Gundogan, the goals come back as well. So, especially in recent history of the club, it's there. They can do it, and they've got to believe they can do it as well. And I'm not saying it's a free hit tonight, but you've got nothing to lose at all.
Yeah.
You know, in the changing room, if you're manager, your teammates are saying, let's go and have a go.
Yeah.
Leave nothing in here at all. You know, if we're going to go out, people are expecting them to go out now anyway, 3-0 down against Real Madrid, serial winners, serial champions in Europe. Nobody's expecting anything.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that, I think like when you're told that you don't even have a chance, it is liberating in that way. You know, you're down aggregate 3-0.
The freedom you can get to go
absolutely.
out and play.
I think it gives you such freedom as a player of people probably aren't expecting us to do this, so why don't we just go play the way we know how and go try to do it?
Yeah, go and express ourselves, and that'll be probably the conversation that we're having and they're going to be having tonight as well, is it?
Yeah, it's finding that balance between taking the handbrake off, like we have to take the handbrake off, we have to go, but also being balanced that we don't leave ourselves vulnerable in the game early on as well. We've got to work into it, put the pressure on them, play in their half, which is something we know that we are unbelievable at, is pushing an opposition back and making them suffocate. But we need to, those moments where they do win the ball back, we've got to suffocate them early and keep them in their half and put them on the back foot. And we've got the players to do that. And I think, you know, you look at the experience in the team. You know, we look at Bernardo Silva, Rodri, but then you look at the younger players that maybe haven't experienced a game of this magnitude before, like Kushinov, who comes in with that kind of no-fear mentality, and he's going to be massive tonight because his pace and behind, keeping us safe at the back is going to be so important.
Little exclusive there from
sorry.
Izzy. You've got it there.
It's your job. It's your job.
I love
Team News is your job. Is it your job?
That's why they're not going anywhere.
Are they playing? We don't know.
Let's find out.
I'm just relieved it wasn't me.
Here we go. Let's see then.
Come on, Izzy.
Hang on.
Gigi Donnarumma in goal. Mateus Nunes, one of 4 changes tonight. There he is, as predicted by Izzy. Kusanov in the fold alongside Ruben Diaz. The second of 4 changes. Ait Nouri does start, as of course he came on in the first leg, but he starts tonight. Rodri, huge, colossal in midfield, is going to be massive tonight. As is that man, he needs no introduction. Bernardo Silva wearing the captain's armband. The third of 4 changes from the first tie. Tijani Reinders starts in midfield. Then let's see who he's gone for in attack. The fourth and final change, Ryan Shirky comes into the fold. Jeremy Doku was unplayable in those first 18 minutes. We'll want more of that tonight. And the big man, if anyone can put the ball in the back of the net, it's him. Erling Haaland completes our starting 11. 4 changes, Paul. We were wondering how was Pep going to play it, so he brings in Nouri, Nunes, Tijani Reinders at centre midfield, and Ryan Shirky. I don't know if you want to choose any of them individually, but that feels quite very attacking to point out.
It does. Shirky's the one I think that stands out. We all know the ability he's got, and he can create something for nothing. I don't think it's a secret that Erling really likes playing with him, because if Erling is going to play in the shoulder and he runs in behind, he's got the ability to go and find them. The other thing, I look through the spine of the team and talking about this being a completely different team that's won the Champions League before, but you've got Donnarumma who's won it, you've got Ruben Diaz who's won it, you've got Rodri, you've got Bernardo, and you've got Erling. That's right down the spine of the team as Champions League winners, and they're going to be massively important tonight for that, for the rest of the players around them as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Sam, I mean, you played in big games, Olympic gold medalist. When you come to these big occasions and these big games, how important are those players with the experience for, you know, one, just kind of calming everyone else around them, but just knowing when you stood in the tunnel or you look across and you see people of stature who've won stuff, it must be massive on the pitch. It's not as real.
No, absolutely. I mean, that gold medal experience was my first major tournament final, and being able to look to the likes of Lindsay Heaps sitting with me in the midfield was like huge, knowing the experience that she has. I think with that, though, as important as veteran experience is, it's also you want your best 11 players on the field, and that, I think, is what is being done tonight. And the veteran impact that is even coming off the bench, whether those are players that get onto the pitch or not, is monumental as well. And so it absolutely is just like such a team effort, but you can't replace veteran experience and players who have been there before.
No, and that's quite interesting, actually, just because there's been some clips that have come out about Kyle Walker, who's been given an interview this week, and obviously he speaks about the Champions League final. Pep told him, you're not going to start, you're on the bench, but he gave the speech before the game. So you can also impact the game, as you've said there, off the bench. And there's a wealth of experience on the bench as well, is he?
Yeah, it's really powerful, obviously, when everybody, you know, contributes to what the goal is. And obviously that experience with Kyle Walker was really interesting, because when you are not in the 11, you're a sub, but you're a huge player, huge personality, and you have that impact. It shows the togetherness, the buy-in, but it comes from someone with a different perspective as well. Like, he's not starting the game, so maybe his emotions are a little bit different. And I think that tonight you go, you know, on Paul's point about Rayan Cherki, like, he is unbelievable, by the way. Like, honestly, I love watching him play, but this is big for him. But then he's got Rodri around him, he's got Ruben Diaz around him, he's got Bernardo Silva around him, and it's almost like he can go, let the handbrake off, go and be magical, and then the others will sort of make him feel secure underneath. And I think that's maybe the reasoning with Cherki coming in. I don't know, but I think we know that what Paul said about him is spot on. He has that ability to create something magical, and he's got the security around him to do it.
And I think we'll see him popping up everywhere as well. I don't think he'll have a set position tonight, is he?
No.
I think with having Rodri and Bernardo in there especially, they can help cover for him, and I think he can go and play with freedom. That's what he wants to do. He's a maverick, isn't he? He's a maverick footballer who creates things, and people love to see him play, and he loves getting on the ball. So let him go and do it.
And one man as well we know who we want him to find is Erling Haaland. When Haaland knows that there is a Cherki on the pitch, that for him tonight, because he probably knows himself, he probably wanted to score in that first leg, he didn't. But we know there's a good link up there that is going to threaten Real Madrid tonight, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he registered one shot on goal in the last game or something like that, and obviously credit to Madrid's backline for shutting him down. But I think any way that we can get him isolated in the box is, I mean, to state the obvious, I mean, that's of course what you want, but like that is going to be, I think, City's biggest hope for tonight, and I think Cherki is the perfect man to do that.
Izzy, I'm coming to you now for this first tactical question of the evening. But, OK, we want to get an early goal. I mean, what do you think the approach is going to be, maybe generally, but particularly in the first half and the first 20, 25 minutes? Because you don't want to go, I guess, too gung-ho, because a weakness for Man City this season, players have said it themselves, and Pep, is a quick transition.
Yeah.
We struggle with that. So what's the balance? Is that the thought with Reinders maybe coming in there as well, do you think?
I think you're spot on. I think personnel-wise, Reinders brings that physicality, legs in midfield. You know, he's able to get up and down the pitch with pace. I think the way that... It sounds like a really kind of cheap thing to say, but I think we need to get the fans big early on. I think we need to have something in the first 5-10 minutes that gets the fans off their seat, you know, a big chance, you know, corners even. I think we need to get into their half and let the energy generate and then use that, but then remain really focused and concentrated that the threat that comes from particularly their front three, we know it exists, but make them feel like they're inferior. And I think the players that we have got the ability to put so much authority on them. Get Rodri on the ball early, play in their half. But yeah, go and be creative, but at the same time, obviously, like you say, we've got to be so careful that we don't give them anything early that gives them an impetus to get into the game.
And going to the defensive side of the pitch, I think I didn't quite agree with it, because I could understand why he started maybe O'Reilly and Kusanov on either fullbacks, but that does feel a little bit more balanced, for want of a better word. How can that impact the team tonight, having Aït-Nouri and Núñez back at right back?
I thought those two best fullbacks that we've got in the club that have played the majority of the season, you know. But I mean, even hindsight's a great thing. When I seen the team last week, I know everybody afterwards was picking it left, right and centre. When I seen it, I was really happy with it. I thought going to Madrid, it's attacking. Team that's struggling. I thought, well, shows you how much I know, really. Went lost 3-0. But I think tonight, I think Núñez has been absolutely fantastic.
And also, we're going to hear from him in a second, Bernardo Silva as well. He was able still to pop up everywhere, and his energy is going to be key tonight.
Yeah, he's massive. I think consistently he's been our best player this season, Bernardo Silva. He's been unbelievable. You know, he seems to be getting better and fitter the older he gets. But he's going to be a huge influence tonight, especially if I think Checo's going to be roaming. He's got the football intelligence just to fill in if he sees gaps, and if both fullbacks are going to go on. You can see Bernardo Silva sometimes. Look, he's left wing here, but then you can see him playing right back. You can see him getting the ball off the centre half. You can see him playing off the front man. He's just a wonderful, wonderful, intelligent footballer.
And the fans appreciate, you know, when you've got someone like that on the pitch. I mean, for me, they're slightly different. Maybe Bernardo's a bit more attacking, but you know, I watch Hasegawa, and I feel like she does so much running off the ball. And like, what is it like to have a teammate like that on the pitch?
I mean, absolutely. They're willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win, whether that's being more attacking minded, getting stuck into tackles. They're the glue, I think, that keeps the team together. They can quite literally do it all, and I think supporters love that, and I as a player love playing with someone like Yui, and I can't even imagine Bernardo Silva as well, but yeah, they very much so are the glue and really are like the fulcrum of the team and are willing to do the dirty work, maybe the unapplauded work that takes to win. And then I guess if you see Yui, do you know what I mean, or Bernardo, if they've just run the length of the pitch to make time, I guess it lifts your game then a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's inevitable. I mean, she just never stops running, and she never seems out of breath either. And he is quite similar. I feel like he just is an energizer bunny. He just keeps going and going and going. But he is just, again, I use the word fulcrum, like he's at the center of everything. Everything good that is happening for City, he's almost always at the center of it. So I think the more that, he can continue to do that tonight, it's going to be huge for them.
Absolutely. Well, let's hear what Bernardo had to say. He was alongside Pep Guardiola in their conference before the game, so we can see what they both were saying ahead of this huge game against Real Madrid.
Hi, Pep. I mean, in your personal history, you've had some games and some ties where you've come from behind. I mean, do you have a favourite comeback, a comeback that you always remember?
Aston Villa, last game, to win the Premier League. 74 minutes, 0-2. They make 3 goals in 12 minutes. So, another comebacks, we did incredible things in this competition, scoring goals, but concede, for goal difference we are out, for many details, for the decisions for the referees, for many reasons. Sometimes you are out. So, it had to be a perfect game in many, many departments. In our people and the referee decisions, for many, many things have to be so good to make these kind of things, but it's nice an experience to live again. Always I have a good memories in the defeat, so always one of the more exciting moments when the Tottenham games. On the other one we were out, but what a game, what a moment. It's a painful, it's hard, but always remain now in my pockets. Not always remain the good things in your life. The bad things always apart, and good games and good experience. I have to create a good game with our people. Hopefully they can make an extra bonus, and yeah, try.
Hi, Bernardo. Pep mentioned the game against Aston Villa a couple of years ago on the final day. You were obviously involved in that. Is that something you can sort of call upon, in the dressing room before and tell the other guys about?
Well, this sport has taught us that a lot of things can happen in a football game, and even though the result in Madrid was really bad, we will fight. We will for sure fight until the end, knowing that it's going to be tough. The opponent is a very good one. The first result was not good. At home, a lot of things can happen, especially at home here at the Etihad, and we're going to try and create the right atmosphere for that to happen.
So there he is, our magician, our captain, Bernardo Silva, giving his thoughts, saying that we are going to fight till the end. That is in the DNA of our club. And it's not for want of them trying in that first leg. I don't want to dwell too much on it because we're being very positive here tonight. But I think it is important to reflect, Izzy. And I want to begin with what Pep said, actually. The first 18 minutes, and like you said, Paul, 20 minutes, is actually, I think, the best we've ever played at the Bernabeu, which is kind of mad to say given the result. But we were unplayable, and I guess that's got to be a source of hope tonight.
Without a doubt, and Paul's spot on when he said about Real Madrid's form. They've not been a typical Real Madrid side, and they had a really good night last week. Like, let's be honest, they had a really good night and survived that early onslaught from Man City. And their captain just came up with a hat trick from midfield. And like sometimes these things happen, but I think that's Champions League football, is that anything can happen. And I think you flip the mindset and go, oh, anything can happen tonight. But it was the Nico O'Reilly chance pressing in the second half that I thought was the key moment in terms of if we'd have scored, if that had gone in the back of the net, this tie, becomes even tastier. But I still think at 3-0, we're going to be okay. I think we can do it. but we have to generate the early power and get the fans in it early.
You know what the ironic thing about Valverde's hat-trick as well, you know, he usually plays a central midfield, doesn't he? But I genuinely believe they've played him on the right to protect Trent. Up against Doku.
Yeah.
For a defensive tactical point of view. And the fact he then is the best attacking player and goes and scores a hat-trick, has the night of his life.
I know.
But that I felt, I don't know, like, I've not seen like an individual player performance like that in the last 4 or 5 years. You know, someone who just seemed to be on a whole different wave. That can just sometimes happen. Because I said to my brother, I was like, you can't let him shoot tonight because I feel like everything will go in, genuinely. And it did. But sometimes, I guess, you just hit a sweet spot, or, I don't know, have you had them games where everything just is like in flow?
Positive and the negative side. But it's not to create excuses for the performance and the result, but when you have a player like Valverde who's quite literally playing probably the game of his career.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about that contributing to the result and it being less about City's shortcomings and also credit to a baller for showing out on the round 16 of the Bernabeu. Like, sometimes that's just how the cards fall and it stinks. But you have to give him credit and also have to just continue to take your learnings from it and apply it to the next game, but to not overshadow the fact that he had the game of his career. And sometimes that's just how it goes. It's very frustrating.
And that's such a nice point, Sam, because it also doesn't, because it kind of then people get bogged down on being like City were really bad, but we actually don't let it detract from. We gave a good performance in moments. The Donnarumma save for the penalty feels like the second key moment as well.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. Totally forgot about that. And how could I? Because that was so important in the game. Obviously, this bit here. Do you know what? I thought Kuznetsov was going to get back.
Donnarumma says that he touches the ball, as did Pep. I didn't see it.
When I watched it in slow, this is our best angle, isn't it? Do you think he touches it?
I think he's got a touch on it. I also think that Vinicius, I don't even think he's looking to score a goal there. I think he's looking to get brought down and get him sent off.
Do you reckon,
The pace he's got going clean through, I know Kuznetsov nearly caught him. But he still could have got his shot off before that.
Yeah.
But that could be, go back to what Izzy was saying, that could be a huge, huge moment.
That feels like it's one of those moments.
Because if that goes 4-0, we're probably sitting here now saying, oh, well, if we get one, maybe two, maybe... It gives you hope.
Yeah.
It gives you serious hope, that now.
And Donnarumma's the type of personality we're speaking about. Like, he's got something about him, hasn't he? Which, on a night like this, he's going to come into his own.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't want our keeper to come into his own tonight. We want him to do nothing.
No, agree.
But he has that bit of magic about him. Obviously, like you said, previous winner of the Champions League. You know, he's been there, done that. And they're going to need him to kind of lead the team from the back.
And I know it might seem a bit like redundant, but do you know that there was the big thing about when he first came out the box early on in the first half and he actually pulls himself away? Do you not think that was an amazing experience, though, because he wasn't sure, and if he does catch him, that it could have been... that in the heat of that moment in the Bernabeu in 18 minutes, he has that calm head to make that decision?
Yeah, and that's the experience you get. That's why you signed, you know, a top-class, world-class goalkeeper in Donnarumma. And I think, I mean, to be honest with you, he was brilliant last week in those moments, but I think he's been fantastic all season. There's been so many moments where he's just pulled off absolute worldies.
Yeah.
And we speak about magic, we speak about Valverde's performance last week. You look at Donnarumma and what he's capable of. We now need players to come up with those moments tonight that is going to make it their night.
We wanted to make it Erling Haaland's night, and I don't know if we played it there before. We talked about the Doku balls across the box, Sam. And Pep's always spoke about it's not necessarily even a Haaland thing. The team needs to do more to try and find him. How do you think City could maybe go about trying to, bring Haaland in, as you say, him, kind of put right the stat of him only having that one shot on target?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Doku is such a threat on the wing, and especially in 1v1 situations. And so I think, I mean, of course, getting Haaland into 1v1 situations where he's able to attack the box. But I think, honestly, you have nothing to lose having an onslaught of attackers in the box, like really being able for midfielders to be able to join late, making sure that we're occupying key spaces and, just committing numbers, obviously with transition in mind. But in my head, I think why we don't want to be thinking anything in terms of being on the back foot. I think committing as much as we possibly can and getting Doku in those situations where he's able to really shine is going to be vital.
And actually speaking as well of the midfielders coming into the box, the best player that we've got probably at doing that and did at AC Milano last season, Tijani Reinders.
Yes.
So we said about trying to stop the transition, but that's such an attacking threat as well.
And I think we'll find he'll probably be the closest one to Erling.
interesting.
When we're making attacks, because he loves. I mean, I don't go back to Kyle Walker thing. He talks about how Pep loves the third man running midfielder, getting closer to the centre half, breaking the lines in between the full back and the centre half, the gaps in between to draw players out. And I think we'll see Tijani. It does it really, really well.
It does, yeah.
Makes late runs into the box, which attracts either the full back, but more often than not the centre half out there, and that can leave space for Erling in there as well. And he's really clever at it.
And that's the time he speaks about. Gundogan was the player that did that before. You can't. Can you teach that timing? You know, if you were practicing them late runs into the box, I guess there's a bit of coaching, but it feels also that was just an ability that Gundogan has or Reinders has.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of like a gut feeling, an instinct that I think specifically players in those positions have of when to arrive, how to arrive, depending on the type of service that's provided. But of course, it can be something that's worked on. But I do think it's very instinctual and something that comes naturally in many ways as well.
It's football intelligence, realising the right time to do it and when not to do it, and realising where the space is, and realising who's in the ball as well that's going to find you.
Yeah, that's it. You're almost thinking about what they're going to do, and then you can choose accordingly.
Because you know that they're going to give you it.
Yeah, nice. Right, OK, let's pause here in the studio. We're going to head to the Etihad Stadium because over there we've got Alistair Mann, who's on commentary. He's alongside his commentary partner today, Clive Allen.
Yeah, thanks. Welcome to Pitchside, where I'm joined by my co-commentator this evening, the former City striker, Clive Allen. Clive, you've had a few minutes to digest the City team. What have you made of that?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Obviously, there's now a really, really strong bench for Pep to call on. I think that's going to perhaps play a major part in how this game unfolds.
Have you got a feeling deep down that there is a chance that he could turn this over?
Yeah, there's always a chance in the Champions League. I always say there's always drama in the Champions League. There was a result that you don't expect, where a fixture and a result is turned around, and certainly City are capable of doing that. It's a massive game, a big game in this year's competition, but it's one in which it's not unassailable.
A lot of people have spoken about the very few occasions on which a team has overturned this kind of advantage, but almost all of those were in the away goals rule era. Do you think this gives City a bit more of a fighting chance that there is no away goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no doubt that obviously being at home tonight, they know what they're chasing. If Real score, they just have to match that. So it's something that's been introduced. It's something I think that has worked, but certainly just slightly in City's favour in that respect.
Well, we're going to get on to the Real Madrid team now, and this is their lineup tonight. Looks like just one change from the game last week. Courtois, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Rudiger, Hyson, Fran Garcia, who's come in for Mendy, who went off with an injury at half-time last week. Well, Valverde's still there, and we know how good he is. Pitarch is in there, Thiago, Tchouameni, Arda Güler, who scored a worldie at the weekend in La Liga, Brahim Diaz and Vinicius Junior. And he is involved tonight, is Mbappe, but on the bench. And if you remember the game at the Bernabeu in the league phase, he was named on the bench, paraded up and down a couple of times, but there was never any intention of him being involved. I've got a feeling deep down that might be the case tonight. If you look at the Real Madrid lineup, obviously only one change. Even in that 3-0 scoreline, did you see frailties? Did you see things that encourage?
Absolutely. I still feel if you can get out the back four, you can put them under pressure. I think City physically and technically are capable of really disrupting. I think it needs to be a powerhouse performance, real intensity about the way they play the game. And obviously getting the ball in the box, I think, is going to be vitally important. And, you know, when you've got Haaland, you just got to give him chances.
There's a fact that last week, in certainly the opening 20 minutes, City really got at Real Madrid, and particularly down Trent Alexander-Arnold's side. Do you see that being a pivotal area?
Yeah, absolutely. Doku on that side, I think there's no doubt that he will go one-on-one with Trent Alexander. It's not his strongest suit. You know, you've got to get on top of him and stop him delivering balls, which he's capable of. But defensively, he's vulnerable, and Doku can play a big part tonight.
Momentum's such a huge thing in professional sport. Obviously, Real Madrid had that momentum with 3 quick goals from Valverde. Is it about a momentum thing tonight for City?
Yeah, right from the start. I think they have to show the same intent, the way they started the game in the Bernabeu, but they have to maintain that and keep that going as long as they can, and certainly take chances. Have to be really clinical. When opportunities come, you have to take them, and that creates a momentum that you can build on.
I mean, I'm not in any way suggesting that this isn't a strong Real Madrid team, but I've certainly seen stronger in the last few seasons. Have you?
Absolutely, totally agree with you. You know, no Bellingham, Mbappe on the bench, and I, like you, don't think he's going to play any part. And there's so many players that over the years you've seen such strong Real Madrid 11s. This is not by far anywhere near one of their strongest sides.
OK, I'm not going to exactly tell you to make a prediction here, but genuinely, what kind of percentage you give City tonight?
I give them a 50-50 chance, even at this stage.
OK.
We're halfway.
And the key?
The key is, I think, the passion and intensity in which they play the game, because I think that can really undo Real Madrid.
Brilliant. The thoughts there of my co-commentator this evening, Clive Allen, and he believes about a 50-50 chance. You know what? At 3-0 down, I think we'll take that. Back to the studio.
We'll take that from Clive Allen. A 50-50 chance. Paul, we're giving them more, though, I'm guessing, from your side.
Of course we are. I've got Clive sitting in the fence there. 50-50.
It's a safe answer.
Positive thinking, Kel.
I am. Well, on that, I'm going to come to you first,
vibes.
because when you saw that Real Madrid team, it did give you a bit more of like a fire in your belly, because you said we could get at that team tonight.
We could, and look, they've got good players. I mean, young Thiago last week for us. 18-year-old, I thought was absolutely outstanding in midfield. But I want to be careful that I'm not going to make myself look stupid by the end of the show. But I think this is the weakest Real Madrid team that's came here. But all the time, 5 years in a row, is it 7 out of the last 8?
Yeah.
Something like that, something crazy like that, maybe even more. And I think this is the weakest one to come here.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think, as an experience as well, yes, they've got Rudiger. At the back, they've got Valverde, but then I'm looking through the team. We've got Vinicius, Ardguler, Thiago. We're talking about Frank. There's not that experience that you would associate with a Real Madrid team on big Champions League nights. Whereas I've ran through the spine of our team already that's got that experience, and I feel that we could maybe be a bit physical with them as well, because they don't look like a physical team tonight. And just get after them. I know I'm convincing myself here.
Yeah, you're convincing me as well, don't worry.
Yeah, good. But I've just got a feeling that it could be a special night.
And as far as their approach, I mean, we spoke about what City can do. What could you see? I mean, I don't know if I can see Madrid coming in and doing what we maybe see, teams against City doing, two banks of 5.
Yeah,
it's
it's going to be so interesting to see how they set up, because I think they'll probably spend the first 10 minutes waiting to see what we do.
Yeah.
And I think thinking about it, I suppose we're so good at suffocating teams into their own half. Sometimes that actually works against us, because they've got more players in a smaller space that we have to then break down, which probably explains why Erling Haaland doesn't get those sort of clean, sort of clear-cut chances when he's running in behind. So I'm thinking, how do we make their back line step up? Create that space for Erling Haaland to stretch them. So it might be that we approach it, shorter passes in our build phases in our half to suck them out, and then we go in behind using the likes of Doku. And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking our full-backs are going to be massive. I know you mentioned earlier, Cal, need to get them high and then leave the defending to Diaz, Kushnerov, Rodri and Reinders has got that flexibility to defend as well as attack. See, I think you're spot on with him being up close to Haaland, being that sort of player for the knockdowns, player to get in nice and tight, but he's also got the legs to defend and help us on transition. So I just think, for Real Madrid's perspective, see what we do, and if we start bright, if we start early, we put them on the back foot, they're going to feel the pressure.
You mentioned as well the fullbacks, but on the Madrid side, Trent Alexander-Arnold does start. He was rested from their game at the weekend. We know he's that going forward, but probably have his hands full a bit tonight as well, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Doku had his way, as we talked about in the first 20 minutes of the last leg. I think the more he can find his rhythm really early on and expose Trent Alexander-Arnold early on in the match, I think that will obviously impact his confidence, especially coming back to a stadium he knows well.
Yeah.
So I think the more that he's able to get into his head that way, I think it's only going to be positive for City to have that advantage.
And the other thing we spoke about when we first saw the team, I mean, there's been a lot of conversation. Mbappe, Bellingham. Mbappe is on the bench. Bellingham nowhere to be seen. That also is very good news for Manchester City fans.
Absolutely. You don't If I'm playing Real Madrid, I don't want Jude Bellingham playing. I don't want any of the best players playing.
You'd be marking him.
That's like the stuff of my nightmares. But already in training, I'm marking enough good players. But absolutely, I think, it's not to wish ill upon him in any way, but I think any day that you're facing a side like Real Madrid and they don't have their superstars, that's only going to be good for City. And obviously Mbappe is back in the squad for this leg. We don't know how many minutes he'll be available for. We obviously have to be prepared for the impact that he's going to have coming on, and he's been ready and prepared for these moments. And so making sure that the team is really switched on when that time does come is going to be key.
Well, we have got our Uzbekistani warrior, Kusanov, on the pitch, so I hope that he can at least keep up with him a little bit. Obviously, when we did work, we just kind of was reminded to me in the gallery, they have done that before. Do you remember when we got 3-3? It was 2 seasons ago. It was the 3-3 draw at the Bernabeu, and they then just came in and sat in and won on penalties. Yeah. So, and something that's what we've not kind of associated with the Real Madrid kind of team. And I remember they actually got absolutely vilified back in Spain after that. So you're probably thinking they're at least going to try and come and play some form of football.
I think they will do. I don't think that the players they've got in their team are set up to do that. And look, Ancelotti's team from a couple of years ago were a lot more experienced and a lot more, not disrespect to the players that were out there tonight, a lot better players to understand how to come here and get a result, especially in the Champions League. I heard the manager's press conference yesterday, and he was saying that we are going to have to sit in and soak up the pressure. We know what Man City are like, so it's going to be really important that we're going to be compact. So whether that was a little hint of how they're going to set up tonight, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, actually, we can hear from their manager, Arbeloa, and Rudiger as well. Here they are in their pre-match conference. This was their thoughts and words yesterday.
I've been in many matches like this. As you mentioned, I won the Champions League with Real Madrid. And, this type of moments, this is what you're working for in this type of games. And of course, we played City a lot of times now in the past years, but they are one of the best teams in Europe, and it's always a pleasure to play against the best. And if you want to win the Champions League, you have to compete against the best.
Against Haaland, that you saw last week, we have to defend early, and so many players that they are so tall. We are not really tall, but I think Arda did really great, and tomorrow we will see.
Yeah, I faced Haaland now many times, and I repeat myself many times again. And he's a world-class striker already, and he's a young man. He's very strong, and but as I said before, I like this type of duels and everything. And what have it done something with my career? Yeah, because probably in my first season here, because everyone, I think no centre-back could have really beaten him. And yes, I was one of the first one who showed him a bit that yes, I can keep up with him. So, but in terms of that, I just find it fantastic to play against him, because he seems like a good guy, and he's a better footballer even. So that's about it.
Rudiger there giving us his thoughts on Erling Haaland, and I guess that's almost an interesting point in itself as well, Sam, in there. As we say, it felt like he wasn't the most present Haaland, but the defender that's trying to mark him says it's always a difficult game, and even when he's maybe not involved, he's still a nightmare for defenders. Absolutely,
he's always going to be captivating the backline's attention, no matter how he's showing out on the day. He's always going to have an impact. I think for him, it's just making sure that impact comes in the form of scoring goals tonight. That's going to be vital. They know that City knows that he's going to be their biggest threat in the box, and they are going to be relying on him. So I think him showing up tonight is going to be absolutely huge. And that'll be, I guess, one thing. That's the one bit of experience to have got is Rudiger. So he's going to be big for Real Madrid tonight. Not to point out the obvious.
Yes, and he relishes the challenge, the physical challenge of up against Erling, especially. I think we've seen that over the last couple of seasons. But even, it was interesting there, because I've said it a lot about Erling. Even when people are talking about he only has 5 touches, or he doesn't have that many touches, he doesn't affect the game. He is affecting the game.
Yeah.
Because the centre-halves have constantly got to be on the metal. Because otherwise, if you stop for 1 second, he's gone. Even when he's not playing well, or even if he's not getting the service, he's always in the shoulder. He's always occupying the 2 centre-halves. and hopefully that will give the space when we're talking about the Reinders, the Cherkis, the Dockers tonight.
Lovely stuff. Right, now, one thing that I forgot to mention at the start of the show is today's St Patrick's Day, which is one of my favourite days of the year, but also because what I do know we need today is a bit of luck of the Irish.
Yes,
and we are going to be getting that tonight. But in the spirit of St Patrick's Day, we're going to play a little game of higher or lower, but with players, our Irish players that have played at Manchester City throughout the years. Now, Sam, I'm guessing you're going to probably be leaning on your compatriots over here.
I have some history.
So do not worry.
to freshen up on. I will do my best.
We'll be learning together here anyway.
I'll cheer you guys on.
We're going to go to Paul and Izzy for this. So these are players that have played for Manchester City, of course, with Irish heritage. We begin with probably one of our most famous Irish Manchester City players. Mr. Richard Dunn kicks us off, and I think we reveal with 352 appearances. It's higher or lower? Have they played more or less than a Manchester City shirt? So, do you know who that next player is, Paul? Could you pick that one out?
Do you know what? I'm just looking at it, right, and I think I've played with every one of them apart from two, or against them.
You will have done, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who that one is?
Is that Mick?
Well done, yeah. Mick McCarthy, well done, Paul.
Oh, my gosh, I think I could have figured that out.
I'll go...
Hello, is it?
No, well, now you say it, it's definitely Mick McCarthy, isn't it?
I'll do all the hard work then. Yeah, of course it is.
Higher or lower then?
I'll go lower.
You would be spot on with lower. 93 appearances for Mick McCarthy. Do you know the next player? Is he?
No.
Paul?
It's the Grasshopper, Terry Phelan.
And the Grasshopper, where does that nickname come
His
from?
legs.
Do you reckon higher or lower than Mick McCarthy?
Go on, Sam, have a guess.
Higher.
Let's see. Yeah. Sam with a guess. Straight in. Correct.
Nice, Sam.
There we go.
Thank you.
122 appearances. Next up, that's an old school player there.
I mean, the black and white gave it away a little bit.
Yeah. I definitely didn't play with that one. That's all.
That's Paddy Fagan.
That is some Irish name.
That is a very Irish name.
Higher or lower, do you reckon?
Lower.
Lower. Let's find out. Higher. 163 for Paddy.
Come on, Izzy.
Paddy did
Even I knew that. And I knew Paddy.
Next one.
Another teammate of mine, Sparky, Mark Kennedy.
Mark Kennedy indeed. Higher or lower, do you reckon, Paul?
Lower.
Lower indeed, 77. And last one, do you know who that is?
Teammate of mine at two different clubs, same time. Eddie McGoldrick.
Very good. Higher or lower, do you reckon?
How long was this? This was the carnage, the turmoil years where we had 17 managers and about...
Oh, yeah, and about 50 players or whatever.
Eddie, lower.
We're going to say lower for Eddie McGoldrick, and you'd be spot on 45. Good, well done there, guys. I think we've done very, very well there, say we.
Team effort.
It's a team effort.
True team effort.
Yeah.
We will come back to more higher and lower in a little bit. But just a little update because Glyn are obviously in action tonight against Sporting Lisbon. Glyn, who we know, Bodo, we beat us. They were 3-0 up. I've just heard that now Sporting Lisbon are now 3-3. It is 3-0 to Sporting Lisbon.
Wow.
It's been done.
So is that in the air? That's a little bit of hope and inspiration, maybe, is it?
Absolutely.
Like
it's happening.
That.
It's on.
It's on. It is on.
It is so on.
I'll keep you updated with that. But Sporting Lisbon winning 3-0, which is 3-3 on aggregate. So any more goals on that, I will keep you updated. But Sam, while you were here, there's a couple of things we wanted to speak to you about. Obviously, the WSL season. But I wanted to begin quite selfishly because an announcement went out this week that Matchday Live, we've been on tour this season, and we're off to LA in America, which I'm so excited about. But I guess that generally, I wanted to begin with growth of soccer in the US.
Yes, thank you for calling it soccer.
Of course.
Speaking my language,
That's,
you know. I have been trying to adopt
No,
football
but
as
I thought
the
for
common
you,
lingo.
when we
Yes,
do an
thank
interview,
you.
you know, good
Thank
presenter.
you.
But it does, I mean, obviously, World Cup coming up as well.
Yeah.
What's your take on kind of the growth of soccer over there?
I think that there's just such a buzz right now around the game. I think American fans are actually invested. I think they've always been. I think a conglomerate of people have been invested, but there truly is like an excitement in and around the growth of both men and women's soccer. I think the continued growth of the U.S. women's national team as well as the NWSL and, of course, the World Cup this summer on home soil is just going to be electric. I'm hoping to make it to at least one match. We'll see. But yeah, I think there's so much buzz. There's so much excitement. I think American supporters are really starting to understand the game and really become invested in it, even from the grassroots level to the professional national team level as well. So it's an exciting time to be a footballer in the US.
Well, we do all know this, but I think it is important to point out that particularly over in the US, it is the women's game, though, that's kind of trailblazed the game. What was it like for you growing up there with kind of, you know, soccer and football? Because as I say, you were kind of the pride of the nation. I mean, and you won an Olympic gold as well.
I don't know if I am the pride of the nation. But I will say, I mean, the U.S. women's national team absolutely has been, I think, like the focal point of American soccer for so long.
Yeah, and global soccer in the women's game as well.
Absolutely. I think we've been the most, I think, successful American soccer team by a significant margin. And one thing about Americans is we love to win. If you're not doing that, then they're probably not interested in you. And so it's a lot of pressure, but that is one thing the U.S. women's national team knows how to do, is knows how to win. And so, I mean, as a young girl, as a young player, it was the only thing I ever wanted to do or be was to be on the U.S. women's national team. And there was no alternative to that dream and to the goal of being a professional women's player, which at the time when I was a girl, it wasn't as tangible of a dream as it is now. And so I think of the women that have come before me who have set the path that women like myself can now step in and have a career and not have to work a second job or be worried about meeting or, you know, having a second career after football. Look at me, football. But you guys are changing me. But, you know, I just give them such immense credit because without them, I don't think this movement would be where it is today.
I mean, we've seen the game as well. I mean, you've been there kind of alongside when pioneering our game a little bit or getting it to where it's at now. Would you, if you had the chance, would you have gone and played over in the US?
It's interesting. The opportunity was there at a time in my career, and the reasons I didn't go was because I felt, me being a very technical player, I wasn't as attracted to the league because it was very transitional. You know, Americans, like in traditional kind of NWSL style, the football was very kind of long ball run. I mean, that's probably very not good way of putting it, but now the league, oh my gosh, has changed so much. The NWSL is really technical, but then it's retained the physicality. It's, I mean, it's a very big argument between which is the better league, and I don't think you can compare the two in terms of the WSL, the NWSL. But I mean, playing against the US national team, as an English national team player, we beat them once away in New Jersey, which, I mean, it was probably the biggest thing for us as a national team to get over that hurdle of beating these serial winners. So to beat the US, if you got that on your CV, that's a big achievement. And I think, like Sam alluded to, like that is the benchmark, the mentality, everything about US soccer it's the benchmark, and they've set a precedent across the world. And I think that what we're doing here is different in England, but the fact that we can attract players like Sam, not just to this league, but to Manchester City, I think speaks volumes of where we're at. And she comes in with the winning mentality, and let's hope, you know, Manchester City can win the league as well, which we're on track to do so. So I think it's fantastic, the movement that they created.
Let's get on to that then, and actually just firstly, Sam, just wanted to begin with kind of how you personally, how have you found kind of the move over and the season so far and being here at City? Yeah,
it's been amazing. It's been such a dream come true. I came in it was a whirlwind, obviously, massive transition, moving halfway across the world from all my family and friends to a city I have never been to before, only heard things about, and obviously so familiar with Man City just as a larger club, but it's been just beyond my wildest expectations. It's been wonderful. I love the girls already. They've been welcoming me with open arms, and it's just a special place. It's a special city. I think I felt that from the get-go. It was something I think I picked up on immediately, like there is something different about being here, and I'm just really honoured and privileged to be a part of it.
Well, and as we are to have you. And I wanted to ask you about, and you said about kind of feeling settled and welcomed by the girls. One of the biggest things I've picked up on following the team this year has been the togetherness and this connection and energy within that squad. I mean, it feels like that's probably one of the biggest parts of why you've done so well this year. What can you put that down to? I mean, I met Andre, we were speaking about this, you know, your manager. I feel he has a part to play, but it's the girls as well.
Yeah, Andre is a huge part of it. I think it's, and Izzy obviously can attest to this better than I can, but like from top to bottom, it is the people and it's the way things are done. It's having the utmost respect for all of the people around you. I think in making this massive move, I was looking for a team that was both like excellent on the pitch and doing things the right way in that regard, but also did things the right way off the field and really cared about culture. And I would say that's another pretty common American trait maybe is, you know, you really love being a part of a team and being a part of a strong locker room. And I feel so fortunate that I've been able to find that here. And that was one thing, even in my early calls with Andre and Therese and others, that immediately stood out to me about City is that, it, you know, of course we want to win. We want to win league titles, Champions League, but we want to win the right way. And I think that for me as a player, that means everything.
And off the back of that, we've seen the results on the pitch. I mean, it's been such a joy to watch this team this season. So exciting, and the results speak for themselves. Still a few, you know, a bit to go, but in such a strong position. How are you feeling about kind of the back end of this season and the games coming up? It's Spurs this weekend. I'm going to be at Old Trafford, I think, end of the month. But yeah, how are you feeling and what are the hopes?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're coming off of a disappointing tie, which was quite out of character, but I think all we can do is just take our learnings and continue to move forward, as we've talked about, even with, you know, the City men's posture going into tonight's game. I think we're just really focused on taking it one game at a time. Every game is a final, is the mentality that we're taking into this last stretch of the season. With that, you don't want to change anything. We know how to do it. We know how to play. We know what we need to do. We just need to take care of all those details, take it one game at a time, and just do everything in our power to finish the job.
Well, I'm sure that you will, and we're going to be with you every game of the way and wish you all the luck as well. Now, Sam, I want you to stick around, but you're actually going to go over to the Etihad. You get to watch it. So I'll
send you guys updates.
Yeah, please do. But Sam, it's been such a pleasure. And as I say, we'll be following every game, and hopefully I'll see you whether at Old Trafford or wherever the Joy Stadium as well. And as we say by the time, we're going to hand over to Guillaume Blau, who can give us an update. Obviously, amazing Spanish journalist. He can tell us what the thoughts have been from Madrid and what his take on the game is. A massive thank you again to our women's player, Sam Coffey.
Well, you can imagine the reaction in Madrid during the game and the days after with that outstanding and unexpected result against Manchester City. Of course, the word miracle was used, but at the same time, everybody agrees that, you know, this is Real Madrid. And numbers don't back that up. Real Madrid don't always win the Champions League. They've been knocked out in recent years by Manchester City, by Ajax, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund, Juventus, and yet they've created a myth which is very, very powerful. And that will help them. The impression that one Real Madrid have got everything against them, they can come back and create a magic moment. And it was. The first 45 minutes were absolutely incredible. Valverde, who had never scored a hat-trick, scores a hat-trick, and so on and so forth. Mbappe and Bellingham are back, which means more venom for Real Madrid. But as Bernardo Silva told me after the game, every time they play Real Madrid, they play the same way. So I don't think their approach is going to be different, which is defend deeper than usual, of course, against all the sides, and try to look for the weaknesses of Manchester City. And use the form of Vini, who's doing really well, Valverde, who scored 5 goals in 8 days. All of a sudden he's a goal-scoring midfielder. And, as I said, the opportunity of use Mbappe and Bellingham in whatever way Arbeloa won. But even though the result, and obviously qualifying to the next round, would change the outlook of Real Madrid of this season, all of a sudden the impression is, even though they lost against Getafe 2 weeks ago, the impression is that they can win everything. That is also very typical of the mentality of Real Madrid. They go from disaster to total happiness, and they are in happy mood at the moment. But they have their own weaknesses, and I don't think I've seen many games in which I completely agree with the analysis from both sides. Arbeloa, of course, was happy that the team defended well, and everything they prepared, including those long balls from Courtois to Valverde, one of which became a goal, worked, and then of course that everybody was committed defensively. But what Pep Guardiola was true as well, which is that they created enough. They were in the box often enough, with the ball under control, just required at times. So imagine this, a Manchester City that will dominate, that will have the ball in Real Madrid's last third, and instead of what happened at the Santiago Bernabeu where the ball didn't go in, where the cross wasn't right, how about if it goes right? How about if they score early? I don't think this is a given that Real Madrid will go through. Obviously, you will expect Real Madrid to score, and if that's the case, life will be very hard. But there will be moments during the game in which both Real Madrid and Manchester City will feel, on one case, Real Madrid, that the game will go ahead from them, and then the other, Manchester City, that they close to turn it around. It will be that kind of match.
Road to Budapest. Well, we're still on it, but we've got a lot to work to do if we want to keep on that road. As we know, Real Madrid are here at the Etihad Stadium, currently 3-0 up on aggregate, but a huge 90 minutes of football lie ahead. I've got Izzy and Paul with me in the studio. We've just had Sam Coffey in the studio, which has been great. She's gone over to the Etihad. Now, before we get back in to looking ahead to the game, we're going to finish off playing higher or lower.
Oh, get
just
in.
keep the energy up as well.
Because I know some of the players. No, I know two of them.
Oh, you know two of them?
Yeah.
OK, here we go. So it's Paddy's Day. I thought, well, you know, as we're celebrating the Irish, we need the look of the Irish. Let's hop back to some of our Irish legends. So do we know who the next player is, Izzy?
No. So that's Willow Flood, who was the oldest looking 19-year-old ever in that picture.
Wow, tough paper on Willow, lad.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. OK.
Great lad.
45. Love you, Willow, if you are. I mean, Willow is a big fan of the show, as am I of him. Higher or lower? Izzy?
We're going to go lower.
We're going to go lower. Let's find out. 18, OK. Yeah. Next up, Izzy, I think you might know who this next one is.
That is Mr. Shea Given.
It is indeed. And we're saying higher or lower?
Higher.
It's got to be more, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be up as we go, correct. 69. Then we move over to...
Johnny Mack.
Johnny Mack and John Macken. What we thinking, Paul?
It's a difficult one, this.
This is difficult. It's close.
Higher.
Let's have a look. So close. 10 the other way, 59. Then we come
Poor
to...
from me, sorry, Izzy. Let the team down.
An Irish Maverick. Izzy, do we know this one?
This is Stephen
Woof.
Ireland.
There he is. Clue in the surname as well, Stephen Ireland. We're saying...
Higher.
Got to be higher.
Yeah.
Has to be, surely.
Gotta be. Yeah.
175, huge. And then, last but not least...
20.
Mr. Niall Quinn.
Yep, absolute legend.
Unbelievable player.
Oh, yeah.
Lower, only because of his injuries.
Let's have a little look.
Oh, wow.
242.
Ooh.
Sorry, Izzy, I've let us down here.
I think you held it together, though.
It started off well.
Done very well. He was a hell of a player.
Like my managerial career, that. It started off well and dipped massively towards the end.
So there we are. That was our little game of higher and lower in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day. As I keep saying as well, we will need a bit of the look of the Irish tonight. And we wanted to get the thoughts of some of our fans. So we were over outside the Etihad Stadium earlier on this evening just to get their thoughts and feelings and also talk about those comebacks and ask them, can we do it again tonight?
Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight?
Probably Haaland.
Haaland? And do you think City are going to win?
I think so. If we put enough pressure on Real Madrid, I think we can get a good result.
What do you reckon, George?
I think just the Etihad is a great place to be, and I think they'll pull it off here at the Etihad.
Yeah, I reckon back at home, they're a good team, but I think absolutely City can do it. Come on, City.
If there is one team that can do that, it's a Pep Guardiola's team. I don't know if they will be able to do it. The task is too huge. It's Real Madrid, and they were super solid. You all have the words that Thierry Henry said. I don't know what's on which shirt. Probably if I wear that, it will make grow back my hair, and I agree with that. Talking about the airline growing back.
European nights like this, it's what it's all about. We've been to a few of the FA Cup games this year, but yeah, we thought we'd come to this big one. It's going to be certainly fun, and the light show as well. That's what we're here for, the atmosphere. I picked George up from school at 3:15. We live in Shropshire. Picked him up 3:15. Get here nice and early, take in some atmosphere, and yeah, get on the blue carpet. And who do you think the key players could be tonight for City?
I hope Haaland shows up tonight. He's been not that great the last couple of months, but Haaland has to step up tonight. You know, it's one of the big nights in the Champions League, so I think he will show up this time. Yeah.
I really like when yesterday, in a very Pep style, he went back to the journals and said, "Look, guys, if I have to convince you that I have to convince my players of what I believe after 10 years I'm here, we have a problem." We tend to forget that he's one of the greatest managers in the history of football, which doesn't mean winning every season, not at all. And probably we are spoiled by Manchester City record in England, which is unbelievable what Guardiola did in 10 years in Premier League.
Enjoy. And there's been some special comebacks in recent years, from 99 all the way through to Gundogan against Aston Villa. Is there anything that stands out in your mind that you're looking back on as a bit of confidence for tonight?
Well, it's been done before. You've got to go back to winning the Prem all those years ago. You know, it can be in the last minute, it can be in the first minute. Who knows? We're looking forward to a massive European game, and you know, maybe next year someone other than Madrid. You know, that'd be nice. But we've done it before. We can do it again.
We've done it before and we'll do it again. And, sorry, the fan before him, get him in the changing room. Give him the team talk. We're bringing you some pictures from the Etihad Stadium. This is some of the Real Madrid players warming up. Team is on the bottom of your screen if you've just tuned into Matchday Live. Where have you been? Well, thanks for joining us. Gigi Donnarumma in goal. Mateus Nunes, Kusanov, Ruben Diaz and 8 Nouri, the back four. Rodri holding alongside Tijani Reinders and our captain Bernardo Silva. Ryan Shirky, Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland complete the starting 11. That is 4 changes from the reverse fixture over in the Bernabeu. I just got also, when I looked at the sub-bench, Izzy, 5 Champions League winners on our bench
Easy.
Today. But, I mean, one, mad saying that as a City fan, but it goes to say we've got the experience. That's going to be key tonight. What are you hoping to see from that the lads starting on the pitch there?
They can start the job. The guys on the bench can finish it. Yeah. And that's how it's going to be. You know, Pep hasn't got time to not make changes if he needs to, and he knows he's got the experience to come in, if required, hungry, chomping at the bit type of players. But those guys out there, when they get on that pitch, you know, they're going to want to get straight at it. You know, you're looking at the pace of Doku, you're looking at the creativity of Cherki, you're looking at the legs of Bernardo Silva and Reinders, who can go and destroy their midfield if they want to. If they're on the game, they've just got to put it to them early on. But that stat, 5 on the bench that have won the Champions League, they'll be in the change rooms right now, you know, talking about it. They'll be, you know, telling each other how important this is. And how important it is to just, like, let yourself go and be free and see what you can achieve by just, like I said earlier, just take the handbrake off.
Yeah, 5 in the starting lineup as well that have won it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, well pointed out. So true. And that's the other point you said before, and I love that. The shackles are off tonight. Just let yourself go and.
They have to be. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll be saying that they won't shy away from it, but they'll be thinking individually and as a team they could make history tonight.
Yeah.
You know, and to be able to do that, and how often have we seen the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years? As this group of players, I know there's a few new ones in there, create history.
Yeah.
Season after season after season. They've got another chance to do it tonight. Yeah,
I think Fernandinho as well was saying that earlier today as well, which always bodes well. Right, before we're not going to be far off before we get final thoughts and predictions, but I've got another game to play with you in celebration of St Patrick's Day with our Irish maverick, Mr Stephen Ireland. We're going to do some blind ranking of his goals, but before we start looking at them, and it's great. I've spoken to Jolene about, you know, if you chat to Mike or players that have come. You must have come across Stephen Ireland as well.
My second spell.
I mean, he was what a gift of a a maverick, you know. But what was he?
He was absolutely crackers. He was great lad, great lad, but a wonderful footballer.
Yeah,
great football being natural ability. Probably one of the players back then. Look, there wasn't many that could probably play in a Pep team.
Yeah.
His technical ability was that good.
It felt as well. Do you know when you get them players that almost, if he'd been maybe in a, like you say, in a Pep team, or never really got to see his full potential possibly, because he was. People always say he was such a gifted technically footballer. Is he?
I think that's the thing, isn't it? And that's a great point. You know, because I think back to when I watched Stephen Ireland play, and like midfield, obviously your eyes are drawn towards midfielders because that's just the way I'm wired. But he was he played with so much freedom. He could run with the ball, he could pass. Some of his goals, which it looks like we're going to see him now.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of his goals were so nice to watch.
Yeah,
you know, like just a perfectionist, but not. And I don't know, not like a Bernardo Silva type of perfection. It was a bit rough around the edges,
yes,
but then it still came off really clean. A joy to watch, yeah.
Yeah. He also, I love it as well, I think he did once quote himself as being better than Steven Gerrard. So, you know, that was the type of man he was. Let's take a look at
He didn't have much self-belief. Do you know what I mean? But,
we're going to blind rank some of his goals then. I haven't seen any of these, so let's play along together. This is his first one there. Is that Sam?
There we go.
Wow, that was against Real Madrid. Oh, Giovanni there as well. This was against Reading. Wow.
This is natural, though.
Yeah, he's not even thinking about that, Paul, no.
Didi Hamann, there, locking the box.
Wow.
Stephen Ireland, we're here.
Wow. What do we reckon there?
We're gonna. We score better ones than that. That's what we've got to look at.
It's
2. Yeah, I'm thinking 2.
Yes, you go 2? Yeah, I like 2. 2 was in mine. Let's put that 2 because it is a beautiful finish. Right, we've gone in at 2. Let's see his next goal. Here we go. This was away at Liverpool, so doing it at Anfield. Oh, Shawnee Wright. Oh, it's delicate.
Snapshot.
Delicate. Sean Wright Phillips, though, they're terrorising the Liverpool defence. See you later, mate.
See you.
Oh. That's a good finish, but I'm going to go... What do you think?
That's got to be lower down. It's in the section.
A bit lower down.
Yeah, like a...
5?
Yeah,
yeah, put it down there? Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay, we'll put that right up. 5. OK, now we're going to go to Stephen Allen against Hull City. Here we go. Here he is, always in that little 10 in that midfield role.
Beautiful.
Oh, place, is it?
Just enough on it.
We like that one, is he there? A little smile on the face there.
Yeah.
Oh,
my days.
It's the first touch, open his body out.
And then just play.
I'm thinking 1.
Paul's going 1.
We're going 1?
Yeah, we're going 1.
OK, we're going 1. Wow, OK, all right. Next, Sheffield United next. Here we go. Ping.
Georgie Samuels again.
Oh. Can't say it is a bit similar to 2, but 2 was better, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That is a Samras again with the flick down. Great.
Get that up. It's an up back through that.
It is. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Up.
Gorgeous.
Back.
On his wrong foot as well. Keeping it down.
Gorgeous.
It's got to go to 3, isn't it?
3?
Great technique.
OK, and last but not least, I think this is doing very well so far, I think, I have to say. Let's look at what our final one is.
Hopefully it's a tap-in.
Oh.
Is that Micah?
Oh, that.
No.
Oh, that.
Oh, no.
It's a bullet.
Elano, what a player.
A bullet against Sunderland.
Fast, that is for sale.
Oh, it's fast. Very similar profile to...
Wow. Oh, gorgeous.
Well, we're going to have to put it at 4.
Put it at 4. Now you've seen it, would you have changed it? I mean, I don't think you were too far off, really.
I don't think we were too far off.
I'm quite happy with that, is he, actually?
Yeah? Yeah, I'm very happy with that as well.
Solid.
What player, though, Stephen Ireland. Would love to have seen him in this Pep Guardiola team. Not long to go before we hand over to Alistair Mann and Clive Allen. So let's actually get some of their final... Actually, before we do that, here's a score update. Sporting Lisbon, 4-0. Gone to extra time, so they were at 3-0. Gone to extra time, which is obviously what would happen here tonight. And now, in extra time, they've now scored the 4th goal, which means they are going through on aggregate. But still a bit of football to play there, so we'll keep you updated. Before we get final thoughts from here, let's get final thoughts from our commentary team. Here's Alistair Mann and Clive Allen.
Yeah, welcome back to the commentary position. Myself and Clive just a few minutes away from kick-off. Clive, you ended our last interview with a percentage. I put you on the spot, and I'd said, what chance do you give City? And he said 50-50. Why?
Because it's half-time in the tie, in the overall tie. City are at home in this, obviously, second leg. So I think it's 90 minutes of football, which is in their favour. With the right approach, I think with the right intensity, they can easily turn this round.
Listen, I do a lot of research before every game, and I looked at the number of times that Real Madrid have lost by at least 3 goals. and I found 5 times in the last 17 months they've lost by at least 3 goals. And if you think that in 2 of those months they weren't playing, of course, because it was the summer. Add to that, City have won by at least 3 goals 10 times this season alone. Am I clutching at straws, or does that tell you something?
No, absolutely. I think it tells you that it's a Real Madrid side that can go under. I think, you know, if City get the first goal, I think they build on that. They keep the intensity and the pressure on this Real Madrid side. They don't perhaps have that command and domination that they've had over the years. It's a youngish Real Madrid side. They don't have the absolute superstars. No Mbappe, for example, tonight. They don't have a Luka Modric now, whose calming influence was so important. So it's an opportunity, it really is.
Just a quick question, really, about these kind of ties. We've seen Sporting Lisbon, I know what the score is now, have built up a 3-0 lead, having lost at Bordeaux Glimt. Pep said it has to be a perfect performance. What does he mean by that?
Well, I think lots of things have to go in your favour. Maybe a referee's decision that just turns the game your way. Maybe a mistake, an unforced error. Things that can give you momentum and certainly build momentum. But they have to go in your favour rather than against you. And if that happens and your team play well, your team are positive, things can change very, very quickly, especially in this competition.
I mean, we were talking before about the English teams that are 3 goals behind, and one of those was Spurs. And you look at a scoreline of 5-2 and you think that must have been a disaster, but I think there was a feeling that it wasn't a 5-2 kind of game. Was that not a 3-0 kind of game at the Bernabeu either?
Absolutely. I think the way that City started, the pressure they put them under, the way the game turned so very quickly, and it can easily happen here tonight. It can quickly change, and that's what they've got to strive to achieve.
Do you believe, Steve, strongly that one of the English teams who are 3 behind are going to turn it round?
Yeah, I do. I think there will be one. There always is. It's the Champions League. We have so much drama. We have so much entertainment that I think that it will happen in one of the ties where the English teams are 3 down.
Brilliant. That thoughts there of Clive. Myself and Clive are really excited about this one. Let's hope that all the things that we've been saying materialise. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Alistair Mann. Thank you, Clive Allen. So you can get them on the commentary on the Manchester City app. Izzy Christiansen and Paul Dickov with me in the studio. Those are pictures live from the Etihad Stadium. We are not long to go till kickoff. So before I leave you with a little special treat that's going to get you excited and feeling hopeful and positive, just to add to that, I'm going to get the final thoughts from Izzy and Paul. Izzy, I'm going to begin with you. There's the starting 11. We've covered all the ranges this evening. It's flown by. I've loved the show. How are you feeling, and how are we going to go about getting what we need to do?
Oh, God, I'm very excited, like I'm sure everyone is.
Yes.
Cannot wait. Great show, by the way. We've built it up. I feel it. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, that's happening.
We need an early goal, and we need... Now, look.
Yeah.
Wow. We need early energy, early pressure on them, get them on the back foot, and then we need to find the back of the net as quick as we can, and then we start the comeback. One of the greatest European comebacks ever. And it's going to happen tonight, the Etihad. I'm going 4-0 City. Come on.
Nice.
Here we go.
Obviously, they'll be bringing. They're going to be bringing the noise. As Izzy said there, the Etihad is going to be rocking tonight. Paul, I know you've been positive. I'm feeling quite hopeful, but yeah, looking at the team of players we've got on the pitch, very attacking. Looks like we're going for.
Yeah, I'm with Izzy. Start well, get an early goal, but then also we've got to try and keep your emotions a little bit as well, and not go too gung ho too soon.
Yeah.
Because they've got players we know that can hurt us, but I've just got a really good feeling about tonight.
Yeah.
And I have done all day, so yeah, let's bring it on. I'm going to go 5-1.
Ooh, Paul, I like that. There we go.
I can see us doing a City thing and go 4-0 up and then conceding.
And then get that, and then get the last one.
Yeah.
Dying embers.
Fight to the end.
Love that. We fight till the end.
Love
fight to the end.
Coming from a man who really does know how to fight till the end. Guys, thank you so much. Myself, Izzy and Paul, we're going to be back at half-time. Thanks to Sam Coffey as well. Thank you to you for watching. I'm going to leave you with this. If you can't remember, could we ever beat Real Madrid 4-0 at the Etihad Stadium? Let me think. Yes, we have. Let's run it back, and I'll see you at half-time.
We are expecting this to be one of those evenings when we look back in maybe 20 years' time and say, I was there. Walker now, onto De Bruyne on the edge of the area, into the gap for Bernardo Silva, 1-0! Grealish towards the edge of the penalty area. Grealish into the gap. Real chance for Gundogan. And it might break for Bernardo Silva! City 2! Real Madrid 0! Bernardo Silva is worth his weight in gold! Oh, it's an own goal, I think. Or is it? It doesn't matter. It's 3-0 to City. On it goes to Foden. On towards Alvarez! We're all going to Istanbul on June the 10th. It's a dream night for City. City 4, Real Madrid 0. It's City versus Inter for the Champions League.
It's a beautiful night for us. We knew it was going to be tough, but to beat this Madrid team 4-0 at home, it was a wonderful feeling to be in the final again, and hopefully this time we can try and win it.
Well, it was an honour and a privilege to describe that 4-0 victory against Real Madrid just under 3 years ago. A performance the like of which I hadn't seen before from an English team, the like of which I hope to see again tonight. A victory by that scoreline will take City not to Istanbul but to Munich in the quarter-final. The reality is that if City can do what no one has ever done in the history of Real Madrid, and that is beat them after conceding a 3-goal first leg disadvantage, it will be the greatest night in this club's history. Make no mistake about it. Everywhere you look, there is just a sense that something very special might just happen tonight. City fans have seen so many incredible comebacks in recent years. Many times in the past, they've been written off. Seems foolish, but everyone appears to have done the same today. There is a focus, a steely focus in the eyes of the players. And if you do want a little omen, tonight's referee, Clement Turpin, was in charge when City beat Real Madrid back in December. Ryan Cherki with some last-minute prayers. And the look of steel in the eyes of the players is matched by the anticipation within a packed Etihad Stadium crowd. All the ingredients are in place. Can this City team deliver? So, can City do the seemingly impossible? Given that Real Madrid are far and away the most successful club in UEFA Champions League history, it would be the most remarkable comebacks in football, bar none. In recent years, the Blues have turned games around against the odds, creating extraordinary drama and everlasting memories. But if they could knock out Real Madrid after a 3-0 deficit in the first leg, I believe it would top the lot. To do so, they will have to be faultless, maybe perfection, devastating in attack, resolute at the back. But you know, with a Pep Guardiola team, never say never. Are we set for the most glorious night in City's history? Or will the 15 times winners use all their streetwise knowledge to ensure a last 16 exit for the Blues? So many questions all remain unanswered. I suspect the opening few kind of night we're going to experience. As the UEFA Champions League music bellows out, it would be lovely to think that we will hear it 5 more times before this season ends. I think the atmosphere tonight is one of expectation, not hope. There is a feeling that special things can happen here. There is always that memory of things like the Aguero turnaround goal, the goal scored by Gundogan, when City won the Premier League by beating Aston Villa. Well, this is the side selected by Pep Guardiola to try and achieve perfection. There are 4 changes to the weekend draw at West Ham. In come Ruben Diaz, Tijani Reinders, Ryan Cherki and Jeremy Doku. All those who miss out are on the bench, and want a bench if this game does go the distance. There are certainly some wonderful options for Pep Guardiola to turn to. Well, I mentioned a few moments ago that our referee this evening is Clement Turpin, who took charge of City's win at the Bernabeu in December in the league phase. He also took charge when City beat Juventus 5-2 in the FIFA Club World Cup last summer. You just never know. Well, as for Real Madrid, they are just one different to the side which beat City 3-0 a week ago, and that is at left-back, and an injury to Ferland Mendy, Fran Garcia deputises. Yes, Kylian Mbappe is back, but he's only on the bench, and there is a strong feeling that he really doesn't have the fitness necessary